Some people spend their whole lives believing they know exactly who they're looking at until the truth hits them like a hurricane. On a quiet morning at Camp Palmdale, a young Marine shouted, "Die now," at a woman he thought was a helpless, easy target. What he didn't know was that she had spent 25 years as a Navy SEAL, surviving battles that would break most men. And when their paths collided, it didn't just change his life. It exposed the scars she had buried for decades. The sun rose over Camp Palmdale with the kind of softness that makes people believe the world is gentle. But for Staff Sergeant Lena Briggs, mornings were nothing more than a reminder that she woke up again, still carrying memories she wished had stayed buried in the ocean's cold darkness. At 47 years old, Lena looked like any other supply staffer, quiet, disciplined, and impossible to read. She purposely kept her past sealed. No one in the unit knew she had once been part of the most elite fighting force in America. No one knew she had served in places where nobody returned home the same. And no one knew she had retired early only because she promised her dying teammate she'd live a life outside of constant war. She kept her head down, minded her own business, and did everything she could to avoid attention. But attention sometimes finds you, especially when ego is involved. Private First Class Jordan Tate was 19, young, impulsive, and always trying to prove himself. He had joined the Marines with fire in his chest and a desperate need to be seen as tough. But beneath the bravado was a boy who had never been tested, never failed, never fallen hard enough to understand humility. The first time he noticed Lena, she was quietly lifting crates in the storage bay, crates he and 2 other Marines had struggled to move earlier that week. He watched her, confused and irritated by her strength. "Who does she think she is?" he muttered to his buddy. "Old chick, probably faking it," the friend shrugged. Jordan laughed. "I bet she'd fold if anyone actually pressed her." Later that afternoon, Jordan saw Lena walking alone near the training yard. Something in him, maybe pride, maybe insecurity, ignited. He marched toward her, fists tight, jaw set, adrenaline pumping even though there was no real threat. He just wanted to prove something. To someone. Even if he didn't know who. "Hey," he barked. Lena turned calmly. He stepped closer, towering over her. "You don't belong here with real soldiers. You hear me? People like you slow us down." Lena didn't flinch. She simply blinked, her expression unreadable. Jordan scoffed, frustrated by her composure. He stepped closer, anger rising. And then, because rage is the last refuge of the insecure, he snarled words he didn't even understand. "Die now." He lunged. He expected fear. He expected retreat. He expected something. What he got was a blur. Lena sidestepped effortlessly, caught his wrist, redirected his weight, and set him face down in the dirt so fast the air left his lungs in a single humiliated gasp. He couldn't move, her hold was precise, controlled, almost merciful. "I don't fight children," she said softly, "but I don't let them hurt me either." She released him before instructors arrived, her face emotionless but her heart pounding, not from the confrontation, but from what it awakened. The instinct. The reflex. The SEAL still buried inside her. Jordan scrambled up, more embarrassed than injured. He stared at her with a mix of fear and confusion. Nothing about her made sense. And nothing about her would ever be simple again. Word spread through the base faster than wildfire. Some said the old supply lady was a black belt. Some whispered she had fought in secret missions. A few insisted Jordan exaggerated everything to cover his bruised ego. But Jordan himself couldn't forget the feeling. He had attacked a ghost, and the ghost had won. His sergeant dragged him into the office the next morning, disappointment heavy in his voice. "You picked a fight with her? Of all people?" Jordan frowned. "Who even is she?" The sergeant leaned back, studying him. "If she didn't tell you, it's not my place. But you owe her an apology." Jordan didn't want to apologize, but curiosity gnawed him until he finally went searching for Lena. He found her sitting alone behind the warehouse, sharpening a utility knife with quiet concentration. Not aggressively, just out of habit. She looked up when he approached, but her eyes were tired, not angry. Jordan swallowed hard. I came to say sorry. I didn't know who you were. You still don't, she replied gently. Jordan hesitated. Then, who are you? Lena paused, her fingers tightening slightly around the knife handle. For a moment, he thought she wouldn't answer. But then she exhaled slowly and looked past him, as if watching her memories play like a distant movie. I was a SEAL, she said. 25 years. Jordan's breath caught. What? But no one told us. They're not supposed to, she said. What I did, where I served, most of it's classified. And the parts that aren't, well, I prefer to forget them. Jordan sat down across from her, suddenly unsure if he was even worthy of the conversation. You were in combat? Lena's voice grew softer, almost fragile. More times than I wanted. Lost more friends than I should have. Survived things no one should survive. Jordan lowered his head. I thought you were weak. Lena smiled sadly. Strength doesn't always look the way you expect. The warehouse yard was quiet. For the first time since joining the Marines, Jordan felt something deeper than pride or bravado. He felt respect. He felt humility. He felt a path opening in front of him, one shaped not by ego, but by understanding. Can you teach me? He asked suddenly. Lena shook her head. I'm not your instructor. But you know things I want to learn. Discipline. Control. Courage. Lena studied him for a long moment. She saw a boy trying to become a man too fast. She saw herself at 19 angry, lost, desperate to prove something. And she remembered the mentor who had once saved her from her own arrogance. All right, she finally said. But understand something. I won't train you to fight. I'll train you not to start a fight. Jordan nodded quickly. Yes, ma'am. And for the first time in decades, Lena felt purpose. Not as a SEAL. Not as a soldier. But as someone who could finally turn her pain into something good. Little did either of them know, the lessons they'd share would lead to something far deeper, confrontations with past trauma, unexpected bonds, and a moment of redemption that would define both of their futures. Because sometimes, the battle isn't on the field. It's inside us. And it takes a warrior to guide another warrior forward.